Welcome back to episode 7. As we can see, I have decided that I will in fact have diamond pants. Because last time I actually lost my boots instead of my pants, so clearly the curse has transferred or something. Now, that shop is new, and maybe I should buy a heavy core to make a mace, but something about it being labeled as a Minecraft player head, it just makes me that little bit worried that something funny is going on here. Huh. We like have an actual shopping district forming around here. Neat. And there is still a line of people waiting for their plushies. But we're evil, so we'll cut in line. So we insert a diamond, and... oh! Jam, you madman. Let's do this again. Okay, so I'm still cursed. But adorable mini-me. And this is why I have no diamonds. We're gonna end up having some gaps off the road, because I haven't quite figured out what's going to fill those gaps yet, and I might just actually leave in the end gaps plummeting into the void, because I'm still building the city over the end, and I want you to be able to tell that. Okay, so I'll build the brownstones with the gaps, and then decide afterwards if I want to put in some extra sidewalks or garden beds. I might do other sections of the city using other building designs, but I think I want to do, like, at least this block as based on the New York brownstone designs. Now, I found about 3, but I actually found a internal floor plan for one of them. So I think we're just going to work from the floor plan that you guys can see on screen. And we're going to see how that looks in context. Of course, I believe we're going to start with building the path up from the side of the road. That, and deciding what the actual block palette is for a brownstone. I hate flying in the end so much. That was unnecessarily terrifying, and it did not need to be. Now, I could keep going with the light blue concrete, but I'm using that elsewhere, and I think that I want, at least for this version, to actually be working with a block where I can just pull in stairs and wall blocks. So we're going to work with granite. Now, in the actual typical brownstone designs, the stairs would be made of the same material. Okay, let's say I do run with that. How does this look if I just do the stairs in block granite? Okay, actually, this is going to look so terrible if I do the entire building in granite with nothing else, because the whole rest of my city is weird gradients. But I don't have anything that matches granite on texture. Okay, I guess this is going to be granite, and it's just going to look weird. You know what? I say it's going to look weird like that's a bad thing. But this is already gloriously weird in all the best ways. And clearly the only thing left to do is go even weirder than this. Like, this is nice, but we could go weirder. We can always go weirder than this. And I actually think the granite would fit reasonably well into my palette here. So we'll just do the brownstones in granite. That honestly seems fitting. Right. So I have laid out the most basic foundation elements for this house. We're still going to need that to oxidize. I'll have whatever's going on in that basement to deal with. I still don't have the outside profile of the house, but I have an approximate interior shape for the floor plan. So, looking at the floor plans, there is some variability from floor to floor on the New York brownstone and how exactly things are laid out, but for the sake of my sanity and making this easier to understand, I'm just going to simplify things and say that this is part of the structural element of the house. So I'll get that in. I'll actually put in the floor. I'm torn on whether or not I want to do the internal walls as part of the template, because I could see those changing up from layout to layout, but at the same time, I do kind of want to have a prototype that actually has walls. So we're going to make the prototype version with the interior walls, and then we'll go back and make another version of the prototype that doesn't have them for when I want to mix things up. That might also be the version that doesn't have the floor and doesn't have the doors. But we're going to make the first prototype be actually complete, and then afterwards we'll go back and make a simpler version to copy-paste. That sound good, audience? That sound good to you? Because I think that's how I'm going to do this here. Hey, Enderman. I'm trying to monologue here. Get out of my way. So, now let's put in the floor, put in some walls, and put in my windows. Outside decoration can wait, and interior decorating can wait, but let's get the frame in place. So, cue that second half of the time lapse. asking myself not to start detailing while I was trying to put the frame together was an exercise in futility and frustration, and I should have seen that coming. On the other hand, I do like how these details are starting to come together. Like the little window decoration there, and a little framing around that. Though we are not leaving the glowing level like that. Right now, we're going to experiment in creative mode. I know, how strange. It's not like I normally use creative mode around here, but we're going to use it just for a little bit to tweak this facade so that that doesn't bother me, so I can find a version of that design that actually does work. Also, while I'm looking around at the bits of frame I have already built, my not putting quite enough thought into how my interiors are laid out caused me to not leave a door out to the garden, and there's nowhere on this wall where I can reasonably put such a doorway. I don't like that stair gradient. Possibly the stair gradient I think works, but it needs to be located somewhere else. I don't know. I suppose we can work with those stairs. Something about them feels off to me, but we'll work on it. However, in addition to troubleshooting that facade and the stairs, the fact that I did not leave a path out to the back garden means that we will in fact be putting one basement level, because a basement level will have to have the garden access. So let's mess around in creative with trying to sort out that facade, and then you'll have some more time-lapse of me continuing to build this as a treat. We're just going to ignore the enderman holding hands as they... or the ghost enderman preserved forever in the schematic holding hands. Because that's unnecessarily creepy, and I don't need to... Actually, it might be unnecessarily romantic. It's unnecessarily something, and I do not want to have to pay attention to it. Ah, that's why I'm going to keep having problems with that showing up as red. It's actually oxidizing in the background. No. Not my pristine schematic. Or not my unoxidized copper. So, now we experiment with several different ways of obfuscating that bright yellow glow while still having this be bright and lit up. And it can't be trapdoors, because unfortunately, trapdoors do not work around corners. Okay, the glow lichen is just not licheny enough. Nope, not those either. Skulk veins. Interesting, but all in all, last season. Okay, so thank you, Kaza. We're going to probably have to use your suggestion, which goeth a bit like this. Okay, actually, this was not included in the part that Kaza actually suggested to me. This is my aftermarket modifications to the design. But... and now, for the most complicated part of this, that might actually result in me having to go back and undo that last step. Now, the real question becomes, can I actually do that? And if I do, can we... we can't still see. Drat. Okay, thank you, Kaza, for the suggestion, but that just obfuscates things way too much. So if we put instead slabs on around, slabs gives us still that eye-searing slabs almost sort of work, but not quite. Actually, I can do the trapdoors as long as I'm not trying to put two trapdoors into the same block. So, let's... this, I'm still not satisfied, but we might get there eventually. And if I'm trying to do something like this with the trapdoors, the fact that I can't place more than one of them on the side of the block isn't going to be a problem. That said, while I love my copper trapdoors, they're not bright enough for this context, or not dark enough. We're going to try a couple of these woods. Let's presume that I need to start with my chocolate bars. Oh god, I like that. I hate that I like that. Why does this work? What foul sorcery has this unleashed upon me? Yeah, if I just clean up the if I just say that it's not shroom light on the diagonal, I can conserve a little bit of shroom light. Sure, it makes things darker, but when you have a bunch of the houses next to each other, we'll still have the bright little beams on each of the houses, and we have this detailing section on the diagonals that I don't have to stress over. Okay, let's just simplify completely that little section around the diagonal so that I have less of a headache and we just have that little bright spot. Because I'm reasonably happy with how that little bright spot looks. I'm just pretty sure that trying to go like that absolutely will not... Oh gosh darn it. No, that doesn't work because when you come around the city, I don't want this to be monodirectional, and that current version only works when it's monodirectional. So, we have that cute little strip of brightness, and then I just accept that the area next to it is dark now. Okay? Okay, I mean, that's tempting. Actually, yeah, the glow icon on the same level as the brightness. We have the little bit... it's growing on me. Help. But actually, I like that duality. We have glow icon on one side, bright shroom lights on the other. It's all bright enough that we can see that little bit of detailing. We have that relaxed element above to balance it out. And it's not as unholy, garishly bright as it was when it was just shroom lights. So, I guess we're sticking with this. Why do I do this to myself? And we can see from this how good my memory actually is. Namely, the fact that I've forgotten completely that I had removed the granite slabs from the design. On the other hand, it's growing on me. On the third hand, but on the we're gonna leave it like that. And then we're gonna transition into the glow lichen. And we're just going to accept that I can't remember things that I built 5 seconds ago. However, when we look at it from across the street, I like it. When we look at it from right underneath, I like it. And yeah, we get like the little spots of glowing light and just a bunch of glow from everywhere, but when you're looking at it from underneath, most of the other glow is hidden. Oh, that works even better than I intended. You know what? It's not a mistake. It is a happy accident, and we like those. So, somehow I have still not managed to finish this silly build. We're missing the third story. We're missing the basement level. However, we have gotten in one of the little ropes with lights that's marking the lane positioning. And we have the upper sidewalk. And in putting in the upper sidewalk, I came to realize this lovely, fun thing known as... Apparently, I can't do math. So we have here our 10-block wide lane by the center line. And then we do not have another 10-block wide lane here. However, we do have enough room to hopefully park a boat and still have our 10-block middle lane. So we have on-street parking and one big lane, and possibly we'll try to fix this up when we get closer to the central business district to actually have a dual carriageway instead of what we've got going on here. But let's add in a boat dock and a boat, and we'll call it there for the episode. Next time we can do some interior decorating, maybe finally finish this silly build. Alright, and when actually moored at dock, it needs to be directly adjacent to the road, given how the lane positioning works. But that's fine. And let's also have it be 1 block up from the road level. And yeah, let's also have it be 1 block up from road level, so that it feels slightly less like the hulls of these boats are going to be messing up my cable lines if they do start straying out of their lane. And it's nice having bright light sources out in the distance, and actually being able to just see my city rising out of the end fog. So I'm apparently missing 1 block of cherry planks somewhere out of the middle of this schematic. Let's see if I can't figure out where that is by way of turning off the placement, turning off easy place in general, and actually taking a look at this build. I have this sneaking suspicion that the missing cherry plank is there. And with that, ta-da! Boat! Yep. I know, that doesn't quite look like mooring cable. Too bad. I declared that that's what it is, so that's what it is. This boat has been tied up at that pillar. And now we just add, like, upper boatway railing. It won't really stop someone who's trying to walk over the edge, but it'll make things a little bit more difficult to do so by accident. Of course, the side that actually needs a railing is this side, and it's not getting one. Okay, I say that. No, it's getting possibly a full railing. Let's come back here with nether bricks, because nether bricks are cheap, easy, and have lovely varieties of railing. This is your regularly scheduled nether brick propaganda. But we have a boat. We have the start of our lanes. We have lighting on the facade of this house. In fact, we have most of the facade of the house done. And now, in the next episode, we might or might not get... And now, in the next episode, what we have to do is figure out what the underside of this road looks like. Because we need to have some bridge supports. Because we need to establish how my floating buildings work. What is the design for floating building elements? Ow. And you know, when I first laid out this road, I thought that was going to be horrifically wide. And then we just have this tiny little section of road next to the house. And it's not even big enough. Funny how that works out. Well, see you guys in the next episode while I either work on those underside conditions or find an excuse to procrastinate. Because you know me, I can find any excuse to procrastinate things around here. So, see you around. Bye.